everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Normal 40, the podcast. My name is Lon Stroshan. I am the founder of the Normal 40, and I'm super excited that you're here. Hey, welcome back to episode 2 of Normal 40, the podcast, where we are continuing our conversation with Brandon Meyer. Brandon, as you might recall from episode 1, by the way, if you haven't listened to episode 1, it's the one right before this. You should listen to it. Brandon was born with cerebral palsy, and he tells us a story, but more than that, he tells us about his dream. He tells us what it's like growing up. He tells us what it's like in his career living with this. He tells us what it's like with his parents. We hear from his brother, we hear from his dad, we hear all sorts of things. But what you're going to hear in this episode is a couple of guys playing guitar. And that's how this episode's going to start. Now, it's only a couple minutes, so bear with us. We're not great. Spoiler alert, we're not making our way onto a stage anytime. But I wanted to include it because I want to show you what it looks like when you just lean into a friendship. I didn't know Brandon before this call. I didn't know anything about him. But through the course of the conversation, we realized that we both like guitar. And so we picked him up and we played. And I wanted to play it for you, not because we're good, because it matters. And because it's part of making connections. It's part of creating friendships. It's a part of showing up and helping one another. It's a part about being curious about what's going well in people's lives. And I encourage all of you to do it. All right, everyone. Thanks for being here. I'm going to drop you into the podcast right now, into the song that you didn't ask to listen to, but just give it a few minutes and we'll get into the conversation. Same chords, different order, and we can play some Alan Jackson.
What do you got?
Remember When?
Going soft.
Yeah, look, that's how I am, man. I'm a soft country boy at heart.
That's what I grew up on, is the old school stuff. God, we used to sit and play that stuff all night.
Yeah, I can remember how this goes. Remember when I was young, so were you. Time stood still, and love was all we knew. You were the first, so was I. Made love and then we cried. Remember when? Remember when we vowed the vows and walked the walk, gave our hearts, made the start and it was hard. We lived and learned life through curves. There was joy and there was hurt. Remember when?
You want to know a really great Alan Jackson song that never went anywhere, but it's in this same exact capo. It might be third fret, but it's called A Little Bluer Than That. And I was sitting in this podunk place in Colorado Springs and came on the radio or on the jukebox, and I heard the first couple chords. And I was like, man, that is a country song like I dream of. And I think you'd appreciate it based on your pull of Remember When. Well, tonight, if you turn your radio on, I'd hear a sad, sad song about someone lost everything they had. I sound like me, I'm a little bluer than that. When you look out in the morning, you might see clouds rolling by like memories and a big old sky above you looking back. You may think of me, I'm a little bluer than that. Where did we go wrong? I wish I knew. It haunts me all the time. Now wherever I go, it goes up to E. It gets way up there. It's a fun old song though. I got into leadership because I believe that I've been given a gift to help other people motivate and get to places that they either know they want to get to, they just don't know how, or B, they don't know they have the potential to get there, and I help uncover that. And that's why in my professional career, I got into leadership, and I sacrificed a lot of money because of that. But I know that it's fulfilling other people in other ways. And that's really what's driving this thing. That's the fire, the like, how do I find the next person? How do I, at the gas station pump, when I'm talking to the person next to me, just have the courage to say hi? Just have the courage to be curious about what's up with that person and how do I help? Is this an opportunity to help them staring at me in the face and I don't even walk through the door? And I don't want to have the feeling. I had the feeling when I kind of walked away from broadcasting that I did not walk through the door all the way. I look back now and I understand that that's not true. I didn't walk through the door because at the time God didn't want me to, because if I would have walked through the door, I wouldn't have the wife and kids that I dreamt of and now I have today. It took me a long time to reconcile that. And now it's, how do I make sure that every single day that I'm building towards whatever that thing is that's next, that really does make that tangible impact when I sign my name at the end of every day that says, yes, I gave everything I have today towards my mission to make a positive impact on someone I encounter. That's where I'm at today. It's trying to figure out, God's put me in this place for a reason. I'm grateful for that, and trying to balance that with, is this the right vehicle, but knowing I'm not in control of that. And when that opportunity is in front of me, see it, stop enough to see it and then maximize it, right? Whether it's a gas station conversation, an intentional ramble, a one-on-one like this, whatever that becomes. I don't know if that got deep enough.
No, dude, it totally did. When we talked in November,
Mhm.
you told me about a blog that you had started,
Yeah.
and you told me about that as a dude with CP, a disease that hijacks one half of your body, you learn to play guitar, which without question requires, I'm a guitar player, without question requires both sides of your body, not just a little bit, not just an awareness, a very acute awareness of dexterity with
Yeah.
finger placement and strumming patterns. I mean, it's very fine motor. And we didn't explore that whatsoever. But as I've thought about that conversation, and now I've heard you explain the disease, which I didn't ask you about it then because I didn't understand what was taken from you or what you weren't given to start life. To the fact that you were playing guitar is another moment of breaking braces too.
No doubt.
And I'm wondering, can you? I really want to know. So you told me, let's just go back there, and I'm going to ask you a question if you did your homework or not. So here, spoiler alert, it's coming. When we talked, you said you'd started this blog, and it was gaining this notoriety, it was gaining this traction, and you were doing some videos of you playing guitar, also gaining some traction and notoriety. But then you quit doing it, and I said, well, how long has it been since you went to it? And you said years. And my
Yeah.
assignment for you was go back to it. Go
Yep.
back to what you wrote to others and to yourself at that moment, and read it from this lens, the lens of you today. And the homework was read it and tell me how it made you feel and what you
Yep.
learned from it. And I'm curious to know if you did it and what you felt and what you learned from you.
I did do it. What I learned from it, let me start with how I felt. I felt refreshed, and inspired by it. The blog was called Disability, but dis is in lowercase and ability is in uppercase. And it was really a written framework of what we're talking about today. It's designed around understanding everybody's going through something, recognizing that, accepting it, and how do you use it to go forward and thrive. And when I read it, it brought up some emotion in me because writing and language has always been a strength. And candidly, it's a skill that I've shelved. It's an excuse. you get busy in life and so on, and priorities shift, and I haven't done it as much. And my grandfather for years has been trying to get me to do copywriting because he said, you have a gift to write, you need to write. He now lies on his deathbed. And one of the regrets that I have is I didn't actually pursue that with him. I wish I would have, if for nothing more than the chance to spend more time together. So I read what I wrote. I've actually read it a few times. I would have changed how some of it was written, but the moral of the messaging was I need to get it out there. I felt this excitement. I felt this drive to do it. I felt this sadness that it's been collecting, dust, if you will. And if for nothing else, it's a communication outlet for me to unload some of the things that are in my mind. I get ideas all the time of things to do and things to talk about and things to write about, and often get caught up in the haste of the calendar and they don't come to fruition. And then what did I learn from it is that there's an avenue and there's a desire. We're not alone, right? The normal 40 group, I go to a men's group every Friday morning as men. We're all dealing with different challenges, but we're all dealing with the same challenges. And to hear those men say that is you can't do this life alone. We'll never get where we're going by drifting somewhere. And that vehicle, whether it becomes a blog, a podcast, combination of the whatever media, is an avenue, I think, to help people understand, number one, you're not alone. Number two, everyone's dealing with something. Number three, suck it up, buttercup. Life's hard. It's just not a bed of roses that society wants us to think. And you're not weak. You are strong. You are stronger than you have a clue. And that was one of the biggest things that came out of reading that. The second thing is I started playing guitar. It's always, I used to sing all the time, and God gave me a great set of vocal cords. They're probably not as sharp as they once were, but my twin brother learned to play guitar because he didn't think I was going to be able to. So he played and I sang, and fast forward 10 years, my wife and I go get engaged, and she finds a gentleman that does adaptive guitar lessons, and he comes over and man, we're off to the races. And you talk about hard. I am left-handed. So my natural strumming pattern would be to strum left-handed and do the notes on the neck with the right hand. Well, that is not going to happen. So I'm one to break braces, but I don't think I'm going to break that one. So we had to rewire literally and learn how to strum right-handed and dexterity and do the notes with the left hand. Let's call it what it is. I play 3 chords and the truth. I'm not playing all your F chords and all that crazy stuff. I'll figure out a way to fake it until I make it. But the moment of independence that playing guitar created is one that I will always remember. And it's a skill that I have to continually do, right? You pick some muscle memory up, but that moment of being able to pick a guitar up around some buddies and say, I'm going to be the one playing Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain or whatever song. That's one that I just naturally picked up. And my buddies, I did it last summer. My brother had a July 4th party, and I played there in front of 5 or 6 friends. And one of my cousins was just speechless. And it wasn't great, but just the mere fact that I grabbed it, I did it. I mean, they know me to sing. That's no big deal. But to pick a guitar up, knowing that, okay, this is rewired, this is backwards, this is unique, that was pretty cool. And those vehicles of the blog, and when I recorded the video playing guitar, I think it had like 7,500 views in about a 24-hour period, and it just skyrocketed. And it was then that I realized there's something here. This was just before we had kids. And I didn't stop but I didn't continue with that momentum. And as you know, if you don't carry momentum, eventually it dries up. Um, but man, that was so cool. And I'm not one, I don't need the recognition. I don't need the social media. Matter of fact, I deleted Facebook in October. Um, and I try to use social media to be different. I try to be a light. I try to be a beacon for people, not one contributing to the challenges of the world, but instead one that's delivering ways to fix some challenges. And I just kind of had enough of pause of social media, if you will. But I do think there's an avenue potentially to use it in a different way. So that's where my mind is with it today. And that blog, most importantly, it was therapeutic for me. It's therapeutic for me to write. I talked earlier about filling my cup. It filled my cup to sit and write. It filled my cup to think that, man, if this touches one person, it's worth it, right? And that's what I took away is number one, I need to fill my cup. Number two, this is an avenue that's collecting dust that the dust needs to be brushed off and needs to be freshened.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for listening to Normal 40, the podcast. I just wanted to let you know that one of the questions I get asked all the time is, okay, what's next? I'm here, I'm listening. Your content is good. The podcasts are great, but what can I really do? And I tell people, I've created a community for you and I don't advertise it very much, but I'm going to advertise it here. The community is called The Insider. If you go to my website, normal40.com, click on communities, The Insider is $25 a month. And you can cancel after the first month or after the first year or after the first decade. It's a month-to-month conversation. And every day I'm in there and we're communicating in a forum. And every other Thursday, we have office hours where I'm in there and the whole community shows up and we support one another through their journey. I want you to check it out. If you use code Insider Access, the first month is on me. Go to normal40.com, check out The Insider, and I'm going to see all of you on the inside. All right. I'll get you back to the podcast. Thanks for being here. I'll see all of you on the next page. So we probably need to get to a place where we're going to start pulling all this together. So I want to ask you this question. As you think about the hand you've been dealt, and everybody listening has been dealt a hand, and it's all different. Yeah. In the trade, I talk about the 4 quarters of your life. The first quarter, your first 20 years is what you inherit. It's just what you get. It's what you get by where you're born, who you're born to, the type of individuals your parents were or were not, all of the things. They were just given to you. And your inheritance was different. It was different than others, but it was yours. And then the second 20 years of your life, roughly from the age 20 to 45, is your endowment. It's okay. I have my inheritance, and now what am I going to do with it? Who am I going to make? Who am I going to become? What am I going to do? How am I going to play my cards? What am I going to bet on? What am I going to go deep on? What am I going to stay away from? All of those things. And you kind of create this life based on your own decisions, and you get your own outputs. And then third quarter is this realization that, okay, now I've taken my inheritance. I've created my endowment. How do I want to live from it really? What do I really want to do with the next 20 or 25 years of my life, from roughly age 40 to 65 or 70, roughly? What do I want to do with this quarter that really fulfills me? You talk about filling your cup, and it has to do that, but also impacts others, which I'm hearing you say it has to do that. And then your last quarter is you just give it all away. What can you just give away and live your life purely just in the giving sense? So in this quarter for you, when you're wrestling with, who am I here to help? What comes to mind for you with, okay, I'm a writer, I've got a story, and it's not a story that I probably would have asked for when I was younger, but now I'm not so sure. Now I've been prepared for this moment. I've been prepared to do something more. I've been prepared to write. I've been prepared to give. I've been wired to overcome challenges. I've been given this opportunity. You even articulated for yourself that you think people with CP are wired to be a gift to others, to help them see more in themselves. And then, dang it, Linda Lark, comes along and shows you also your third grade teacher that you've got gifts to give, and now you've got it, and you're wrestling. You've got your day job, you got your family, you've got your things, but now you've got this recollection where you go back to the things that you've done, play guitar, the braces you broke, and that when you reread your own words, and this is normal, by the way, I challenge anyone to find anything you've ever written for the joy of writing, to reread it. Go back and rewrite it. And you said you felt inspired and excited, but yet an element of sadness for knowing that you could have kept it going then. It was there, it was trying to come out, and you didn't. That's normal. And we can't fix that. But you can take it and you can use it right now. Right now, the rest of this week, the rest of this month, the rest of this year, the rest of your life. And you can use it. How do you want to use all that you have, all that you are, to make a difference for people? What is that dream? And I'm not looking for here's what I want to do first. I just want to know. I just want you to talk. Let's fast forward 2 years from this day. What do you hope you can look back and say, boy, I'm glad I'm doing this, or I'm glad I did this? What are some of those ingredients of things that you want to look back and say, damn it, I'm glad I did that?
Yeah, I mean, if I were to fast forward 2 years from today, I would love to see a version of motivationally speaking. I think there's a sense of being able to tie in all the challenges that I've faced, the business acumen that I've developed, and that's not to say there's not more to develop. There always is, but there's a story to be told within that, in terms of helping other people and groups and companies, individuals understand that you can overcome this. You just have to create a plan of action, execute that plan of action, ensure mechanisms of accountability, and hold yourself to a standard and raise the standard continually. If I would have settled for what I was told, I wouldn't be here. I'd be homebound in a wheelchair. I certainly wouldn't have a wife and kids that love me for who I am. So 2 years from now, I'd love to consistently be helping people via public speaking, via conversations like this one, via writing and materials that people can read at their leisure, that maybe it helps them then inspire to take their next step, right? And one by one, the standard then gets raised. People become happier. The world becomes more connected. The world becomes more unified. And we understand that, yes, there's trials and tribulations. Some are big, some are small, some we control, some we can't. We understand that we all face them. And there's no easy way around it other than to jump into the fire and come out the other side. And understand that you're here for a reason. Your mission is not fulfilled. If it was, you wouldn't be here. And that then driving into making sure that what I'm doing every day fulfills it. It doesn't fulfill the corporate check the box of a revenue standard, or there's nothing wrong with the corporate business world. There's a need for it in the world. It brings value to the world. We're not put here on the earth, in my opinion, to simply check the box. We're not here to go through the motions. We are here to live freely, to live our best life, to help others, to serve others. That's what I want this vehicle to do. And do it in a manner that is not self-fulfilling. Do it in a manner that serves God, because God put me here to do that. And being able to understand that as I now enter the next quadrant, or prepare to enter the next quadrant of my life, giving is a big piece of that. I understand that you have to give exponentially more than you want to receive. And I want to do that. My wife and I are committed givers in a lot of different ways. And I want to enhance that. I don't want to decrease it. I want more. I want to be in a position financially or knowledge wise or whatever. If you need it, here, it's yours. It's not mine. And so that's, 2 years from now, tactically some things that I can see them. I can see them being in place, and then some outcomes of those as a result.
One of the questions I ask every single person I ramble with is, what's the dream for you? And it sounds to me like it's starting to get clear for you what the dream for you is. And there's this delicacy to that statement, the dream for you, because it can be interpreted as something really selfish.
Sure.
But in every single instance of the people I talk to, the people who have a selfish dream, purely selfish, because when you have a dream and you chase it, there are elements of that that are selfish. It has to fill you first. If it doesn't fill you first, it's a job, it's burnout, it's you're doing it for something financial. There's no other reason to do it. You're doing it to pay a debt you've already taken on. That's it. So there's always a selfish, little s selfish element of chasing a dream. But on the other side of that, or the to balance that scale perfectly, is all the things you give away. It's all the things that everyone else gets when you're on mission, when you're doing what you're called to do, and it's filling you up, and it's helping other people, and it's filling them up. It's the scale feels, it's always tilting one way or the other. I mean, that's why it's a scale, but it's helping everyone. So if I ask you, what's the dream? Who's on the other side of that scale that is receiving, benefiting from, being helped by what it is you're here to give?
Yeah, two thoughts. The dream for me is freedom. And I describe freedom as the ability to wake up every day unbound and excited, full of energy, knowing that and what I'm going to do physically, what I'm doing that day, what I'm doing that week serves the greater good. I'm not just checking the box. Freedom for me means, ability to serve my kids, ability to serve my wife, ability to volunteer, ability to make sure I'm at my kids' games and I'm present in this very small window of time that we have to raise them and support them. Who's on the other side? Who's not dealing with something? Now, it's a very broad statement, but I keep driving to, if I were to try to narrow that down, and I go back to the title of my blog, dis in lowercase, ability in uppercase. Some things are seen, some are not. I think it's the audience that things are not necessarily seen. I think it's those that haven't quite had, they know that internally they're struggling with something. They know what it is. They know they need to address it, but they have yet to find an avenue to be able to address it, to be able to be the sounding board that you were for me during our ramble, to provide that service and then help them understand, help the company, the corporation, the individual, whomever it is, understand you can tie these pieces together and your weakness can become a strength, and it will when you do something about it versus ignoring it. Those are the folks that are on the other side of it. I can't demographically identify that because it's very broad, but I do think with intention and focus that will come.
Dude, I love it. I think you explained it perfectly. One more question. Do you send people to your blog? Is it findable? Do you want people to check it out? Your
That's
YouTube videos? Tell me what you got going on here, man.
Yeah, so that's the other thing I learned, that my blog is not findable, and that's on me. I let the platform expire as an outcome of doing nothing with it and collecting dust. I do have a YouTube channel, although when I created it, it was, I really didn't even know what I was doing. But I did create a YouTube channel, and one of those, that video of playing guitar is still up there. So there's some tactical execution pieces that I need to do to be able to reestablish those platforms, but it's just a matter of executing those and then putting content in place. So then that's a very logical and easy next step that I need to take.
Hey everyone, thanks for tuning into the Normal 40 podcast. My name is Lon Stroshine, founder of the Normal 40, and I'm super glad you're here. Hey, really quick, by now you know it's my mission to inspire the change in 1,000 lives. And you know that this podcast is just one of the ways I'm doing it. You can also go to my website, normal40.com, and sign up for my free newsletter that comes directly to your inbox. Now, it's not really a newsletter in the sense that you're going to find much news in it. It's just letters from me to you, man, right where you are on your journey. The topics are going to vary from week to week, and I might have a guest article from time to time, but the intent of the Rambler is to meet you right where you're at, and I hope you sign up. You can also sign up for the 14 questions that changed my life. These are questions you can answer for yourself, but these are the questions I wrestled with when I was right where you are. Just a couple other things really quick. A few weeks ago, I launched my book called The Trade, and The Trade within minutes was an Amazon #1 bestseller in multiple categories, and it remains there to this day. I would love it if you'd go buy the book, not because you're going to get something out of me when you read it. It's because the book is going to get something out of you when you read it. Lastly, I've got a closed group off LinkedIn that I call the Insider, and this is where I hang out. I hang out a few times a month in cohorts and in one-on-one calls, and you can come in there and you can join the Insider and you can see for yourself that you are not alone. I would love to see you in there. Look, last thing I'll say is if you're here and this podcast is resonating with you and you can feel something burbling up, I want you to know that you are ready. You are here not because an algorithm. You are here because you are ready. And I want to help you see you through to the other side. Everyone, thanks for being here. Check out the other episodes, and I'm going to see you a little further down the road. Well, Brandon, I'm totally inspired by your story. You've got an incredible story. You're an incredible dude. And there's a couple of really cool, consistent themes with you, dude. One is, you've been an individual who constantly has had to face and overcome discomfort, physical discomfort, emotional discomfort, social discomfort, and then the basic discomfort we all go through with the discomfort of finding a job and being in the right job, and the discomfort of, just all the things that don't really separate any of us from anyone else. Just the discomfort of really trying to figure out who it is we're here to be next.
Yeah.
And again and again and again, you broke the braces. You figured out how to do it. And if there's anything I can do to just be a cheerleader for you to get back into sharing your art. And for me, that's what it is. I believe that every one of us is part artist. Even the most mechanically minded individual in the world has an artist in them. And this art is how you described freedom. It's unbound, full of energy, serving is art. It's art. And that art can be guitar, it can be writing, it can be drawing, it can be running, it can be anything you want. It's just your art. It's the thing that you do to feel unbound and full of energy. And it's finding a way to use that art in a way that helps the next person, some way, in ways that you can't even possibly imagine. So if there's anything that I can do or any listener can do to help you chase your art, dude, we want to do it. And the other thing that was really powerful that kept coming up again and again is that when you go out there, when you present yourself as you are, people show up.
Mm-hmm.
People show up. You talked about, I'll go all the way back to third grade, how Houston showed up. You talked about upperclassmen in high school. People showed up. You talked about people who work for you in different settings showing up. And I promise you, dude, I promise you, when you step into this next phase and whatever it looks like and however you choose to bring your art out, people are going to show up. And when they do, it's harder than it sounds. It's this interesting thing of, I have an audience now. And it's unexpected. It's this unexpected thing. And I know this as a dude who 3 years ago didn't have a LinkedIn profile. And I've got people who show up now. 2 years ago, I didn't have a podcast. I got people who show up now. And it's this different, it's awesome, but it's a scale. There's pros and cons to it and navigating it. But the thing is you got to keep showing up and bringing your art and make sure it's your art. not somebody else's art. Because the more you do that, the easier it remains. Yeah, the easier it remains. So, dude, I I want to know as we go forward, and I don't need to know now, but as we go forward, I want to help you bring your art out. I want to help you in whatever way I can. I just want to be a tiny little spark in your journey
Yeah.
to so that one day you look back and say, I don't remember that dude's name, but he asked me to be on a podcast and I think it was helpful. That's enough for me. And so just know that I'm in your corner. I'm a fan and I can't wait to see more of your art.
Well, I can't thank you enough. You've been that spark, and you'll continue to be the content, the provoking content that you create, and just the way it's done is what's gotten us here today. And now I've taken the step of joining the insider group and knowing that that's another avenue of folks who we're all solving for the same challenge, right? Things we talked about during this session, and having awareness and accountability to, hey, what are you doing with the gifts you've been given, are the first steps. I can't thank you enough for this time. I can't thank you for the opportunity to be a part of that group. And I can't wait to grow those connections. And this is almost creating permission to do those things, which is so exciting. It's almost like you have to give yourself permission to do that. So I want to thank you for that.
Dude, there's three steps that we all go through. You got to accept how you're feeling, accept that it's your time, accept that something's trying to come out of you. You have to permit yourself to act, and that's exactly what you just said. You have to give yourself permission. You have to feel like you have permission from the universe. You have to permit yourself to believing that you're ready. You have to do all of these things that are disguised as fear and risk, and you got to bust through it. And you got to permit yourself to say, I can do this and I can be okay. I can fall down on the sideline and I can be okay. I can get in a scrap with a third grader and I can be okay. I can be dealt a hand and I can get up and be okay. And if you can permit yourself to do that and then take an act on it, dude,
Yep.
I'm telling you the power in that isn't immediate. Like it doesn't fill you forever, but the power in the micro doses as it finds you always leads you to the next day. And it keeps you on this path that's so uniquely yours. And I'm genuinely excited about where you're going. So dude, find your art. You have all the permission in the world. You've been completely prepared. You are so prepared for what is about to find you over the course of the next 1 and 2 years, so that this vision you have for yourself in January of 27 is so possible, which is scary and awesome all at the same time, because now your potential's there and you've got this responsibility, which is tough and hard and awesome and cool, but it's unbound and full of energy at the same time. And that's a phrase that you used and I loved. And so people will show up for you, dude. And I'll be sitting when you give your first speech. Let me know when it is, because I want to sit right in the front damn row
There we
and
go.
celebrate with you.
Let's do it. Even that is that's a fire lighter right there for sure. That's awesome.
So look, dude, I'm gonna love seeing you in the Insider going forward, and I'd invite anybody else who's listening to this to join us too. But people might want to reach out to you,
Yes,
and other than just you're on LinkedIn, right?
I am.
And I'll put that in the show notes how they can find you. Is there anywhere else that you want them to connect with you?
Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook. I mentioned earlier that I deleted it. I didn't formally delete the account. I simply I deleted the app off my phone, just because I needed a break. LinkedIn would be the primary platform. And then, we can establish next steps from there. And I would very much welcome those conversations, whether it's questions about cerebral palsy. I've had parents with children. I've had children with CP call me and ask me questions dating back to me being 10, 11 years old. Even if it's not CP, if it's any other form of just, hey, I have this and it feels weird, I would very much welcome those conversations. And anything we've covered today, I would love those opportunities.
All right, man. Well, thanks for being here. Thanks for being you. Thanks for saying yes to being on the podcast. And dude, I'm looking forward to many, many more good rambles to come, because I'm a fan of yours and I'm in your corner, dude.
Likewise, Lon. Thank you for everything you're doing, and can't wait to continue going together and seeing where this grows.
Sounds good, man. I'll see you on the next page.
All right. Thanks, Lon. Have a great day.
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for being on Normal 40, the podcast. Well, actually, you weren't on it. You were just listening to it. But thank you for doing that. Look, I just want to say the podcast is going to continue here for just a little bit. There's a little bit more to it. It's what I didn't expect to air. And it's a conversation where Brandon and I kind of shift gears from leaning into this curious thing and what he wants to do and everything you just heard. I don't need to explain it. Into coaching, into what do you do? Where do you start? Where do you start building this story? And it's Brandon and I kind of wrestling with some of these things and me sharing some advice. Maybe it's advice you can use. And so I wanted to share it here. And the last thing I'll say is this conversation goes out with guitar, and that's where it ends. There again, you don't have to listen to it. It's not great. We're not sharing it because we think it's going to lead us to a stage. We're just sharing it because it mattered to us. So we thought you might enjoy it. Everyone, thanks for being here. Thanks for being part of my journey. Thanks for showing up. I'll see all of you on the next page. All right, boss man, we'll cut it right there.
Sounds good. This has been even just talking about it is so helpful. So thank you so much. I can't tell you what it means for you to take the time to do this. You're a busy guy. You've got a lot of people seeking your input, I'm sure. And for you to see something in me and call it out and here's what we're doing, that means the world.
When people have rare gifts and talents, they're sometimes easier for others to spot than yourself.
Yeah.
You've got an awesome responsibility going forward, dude. You've been given a lot. And figuring out how to now play this hand, which is a really winning hand, is going to be hard. But fun and rewarding, and you just seem like the type of person who's going to go do it. You're going to break another set of braces, and you're going to leave this wake of people who are positively impacted behind you. And I just want to be able to look back as I look back upon my life and say, I remember that guy when. I remember when he was at X. And I just want to be a fan of yours. That's it.
Well, we all want fans in our corner, right? And we need sometimes people to nudge us and say, hey, what are you doing? And that's what I kind of see this as. And I mean, I have so many people in my life that they're kind of dumbfounded by everything I've accomplished, but at the same time, they didn't expect anything less. But there's those that can't believe it, right? And I want to reach that next chapter. I want to reach that next milestone of people. And the hard part is, what do I do, right? It would be different if I was 28 with no kids. And I know now I have more clarity, even after today, what those vehicles are to just start, right? So that's what I got to do is I got to just start and get the dust off the book. And that came to me during the podcast. And I've got to get the dust off and just get content out there and, get active again and let it become whatever it's going to become.
The biggest mistake people make when they're where you're at is they overthink what needs to be done next. Mm-hmm. They think they need to produce a product that earns you a place on a stage in 2 years or less. And that isn't where you're at. And going back to permission, give yourself permission just to tell stories.
Yeah.
Just to tell stories about your journey, to establish who you are. And the key thing is, and it's so easy for me to say and so hard for people to do because it was hard for me to do, is you have to learn what you sound like. And you have to remember what you sound like when you get to sound like you. So the reason I wanted you to go back and check out those blogs and focus on your feelings, mm-hmm. not the grammatics, not even really the content of the story, but how it made you feel, was that's what you should write about. If I was going to tell you if you're wondering where to start tell the story of the person who wrote that blog 4 years ago and the person who read it today. That's it. Just the emotion, the feeling. And you'll have so much content there. And I would tell you, don't overthink it, just post it. And then the next day, lean into something that somebody said that read it and post about it. And post to a feeling rather than a person at this point, and just let it kind of unfold for you. And if you can do that over the course of 15 or 20 posts, you're on a cadence to learning what it sounds like when you get to sound like you. And that is a fun journey.
Yeah. No, it's such good perspective. It gives me better intention as far as a mechanism to get started. So I really appreciate that. That's great.
Here's another one, dude. You mentioned a story about something your grandpa saw in you, and you mentioned a regret, and you mentioned that the passage of time is upon all of us, but certainly upon him. Write about that. Write about that perspective, because it's gonna hit square in your audience of facing discomfort and disability, capital ability, and this rawness that you have. It's gonna hit at that crossroads for you, which is important, but also for the people who are going to show up for you because they want to learn from you. They want to hear what you're saying next. And those would be just a couple places that immediately you could start from. And I got a whole list. You want another one?
Yeah.
Do a public post to Linda Lark, your third grade teacher, about what she taught you. Do another one about the day you realized that your body was built different than others, but not your brain. Tell a story about the first time you broke a brace and the last time you broke one. That's super powerful, man. Super, super powerful. Tell the story about being so excited to be on the team as a manager that you managed to get injured running next to the running back who's going in for a touchdown, man. We can all visualize it. We all can see you on a random football field. We don't even know the color of your home jerseys, but we all have a vision in our mind of what color the jerseys were, how fast you're running, which sideline you were on, and where the drain was that you fell on. We can picture it. Tell the story. Don't give the details. Don't tell the color of the jerseys. Let people imagine it in their own mind and tell the story of you in that moment and what you learned from it. You've got gold here everywhere with perspective and decency and facing discomfort and owning it. It's just everywhere. And these are all stories that, and I've got more. I could probably give you 5 or 6 more things just from the notes I took that you could write about, and just start writing and don't overthink it. You're not working your way onto a stage yet. You're learning what it sounds like when you get to sound like you.
Love it. That's awesome, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man, this is super cool.
Yeah.
After the pod goes live, and I don't know when it'll be. I've got quite a few in the can.
Sure.
Just full warning, it'll be a little bit. But we'll definitely have you as I'll say guest. I mean, you'll be in all the insider calls, as many as you want to be, hopefully. But we'll kind of say, hey, this time after the podcast comes out, maybe people will open up a half hour, whatever, and people in there can ask you questions or whatever. But if you're up for that, we can do that too.
Absolutely. I appreciate that.
All right, man. Well, I got to hop on to my next one.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
All right, man. You bet. Thanks for being here, man. I'm going to see you on the podcast.
Yes, sir. See you soon.
All right. See you on the next page. Bye-bye. Made the start and it was hard. We lived and learned life through curves. There was joy and there was hurt.
You want to know a really great Alan Jackson song that never went anywhere, but it's in this same exact capo. It might be third fret, but it's called A Little Bluer Than That. and I was sitting in this podunk place in Colorado Springs and came on the radio or on the jukebox, and I heard the first couple chords. And I was like, man, that is a country song like I dream of. And I think you'd appreciate it based on your pull of Remember When. Well, tonight, if you turn your radio on, I'd hear a sad, sad song about someone lost everything they had. I sound like me, I'm a little bluer than that. When you look out in the morning, you might see clouds rolling by like memories and a big old sky above you looking back. You may think of me, I'm a little bluer than that. Where did we go wrong? I wish I knew. It haunts me all the time. Now wherever I go, it goes up to E. It gets way up there. It's a fun old song though.
Dude, that is a great song. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to blow your mind with one that I actually had somebody from the Normal 40 bring up, and I had never heard it. Let's just find it quick. It's a Mellencamp song called The Longest Days.
Okay.
It's right in this genre. So it capos all the way up to the 6th.
Wow.
Yeah, but it's simple. So it's C, G, C, G, and E minor. That's it. But I'll play just a little bit for you. It's a song. It's a song that's probably pretty fitting for our podcast. Actually, it's a song. Actually, this song is about taking chances when you got the time. Because in this song, the singer gets sick. And he talks about the longest days. So I got to see if I can remember how to play this. Seemed like once upon a time, it was just a long time ago, I was where I was supposed to be. My vision was true, and my heart was too. There was no end to what I could dream. I walked like a hero to the setting sun. Everyone, they called out my name. Death to me was a mystery. I was too busy raising Cain. Nothing lasts forever. Your best efforts, they don't always pay. Sometimes you get sick and you don't get better. That's when life is short, even on its longest day. So you're to pretend not to notice that everything has changed. The way you once looked and the friends you had. So you keep on acting the same. Deep down in your soul, you know you got no